Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we're back with more ideas and opinions of Albert Einstein. Today we're starting a new section on Germany. Now, this video will be a bit late up. I'm sorry about that, but trying to get over a bit of a slump of not wanting to do anything. So there will be two pieces. One I'm reading. One is fairly short, and the other one's decent length. Two, three, 4.5. So let's jump into this. First piece we're reading is Manifesto, March 1933, from Mein Weltbild, Amsterdam, Corrido Velog, 1934. As long as I have any choice, I will only stay in a country where political liberty, tolerance, and equality of all citizens before the law prevail. Political liberty implies the freedom to express one's political opinions orally and in writing. Tolerance implies respect for any and every individual opinion. These conditions do not obtain in Germany at the present time. Those who have done most for the cause of international understanding, among them some of the leading artists, are being persecuted there. Any social organism can become physically or psychically distempered just as any individual can, especially in times of difficulty. Nations equally survive these distempers. I hope that healthy conditions will soon supervene in Germany and that in future her great men like Kant and Goethe will not merely be commemorated from time to time, but that the principles which they taught will also prevail in public life and in the general consciousness. So, yes, Einstein speaking on the failure of Germany to accept opposing views or ideas. You have to remember this was from 1934. Hitler is in charge. We haven't yet hit World War II, but Germany's going through the grasp of Adolf Hitler. And he has started his roundup of enemies and the Jewish people. So, yeah. The next piece we're going to read is called Correspondence with the Prussian Academy of Sciences from Mein Weltbild, Amsterdam, Corrido Verlag, 1934. The Academy's declaration of April 1st, 1933, against Einstein. The Prussian Academy of Sciences heard with indignation from the newspapers of Albert Einstein's participation in the atrocity mongering in France and America. It immediately demanded an explanation. In the meantime, Einstein has announced his withdrawal from the Academy, giving as his reason that he cannot continue to serve the Prussian state under its present government. Being a Swiss citizen, he also, it seems, intends to resign the Prussian citizenship, which he acquired in 1913, incidental to his becoming a full member of the Academy. The Prussian Academy of Sciences is particularly distressed by Einstein's activities as an agitator in foreign countries, as it and its members have always felt themselves bound by the closest ties to the Prussian state, and while abstaining strictly from all political partnership, have always stressed and remained faithful to their national idea. It has therefore no reason to regret Einstein's withdrawal. For the Prussian Academy of Sciences, signed Professor Dr. Ernst Hayman, Perpetual Secretary. So we have the Prussian Academy of Sciences denouncing Einstein for his actions and his withdrawal. And remember, the country of Prussia shares German ancestry, but it's technically not a part of Germany, I believe, at this point. But yeah, I believe in the American Revolution, General von Steuben was who helped train the revolutionary soldiers, the Minutemen and everything, to become more apt with weapons and drills, was Prussian. But yeah, okay. Einstein's declaration to the Academy, Lecoq near Ostend, April the 5th, 1933. I have received information from a thoroughly reliable source that the Academy of Sciences has spoken in an official statement of Albert Einstein's participation in atrocity mongering in America and France. I thereby declare that I have never taken any part in atrocity mongering, and I must add that I have seen nothing of any such mongering anywhere. In general, people have contented themselves with reproducing and commenting on the official statements and orders of responsible members of the German government, together with the program for the annihilation of the German Jews by economic methods. The statements I have issued to the press were concerned with my intention to resign my position in the academy and renounce my Prussian citizenship. I gave as my reason for these steps that I did not wish to live in a country where the individual does not enjoy equality before the law and freedom of speech and teaching. Further, I described the present state of affairs in Germany as a state of psychic distemper in the masses and made some remarks about its causes. In a document which I allowed the International League of Combating Anti Semitism to make use of for the purpose of enlisting support, and with which was not intended for the press at all. I also called upon all sensible people who are all faithful to the ideas of civilization in peril to do their utmost to prevent this mass psychosis, which manifests itself in such horrible symptoms in Germany today from spreading any further. It would have been an easy matter for the Academy to get hold of a correct vision of my words before issuing the sort of statement that one about me that it has. The German press has reduced a deliberately distorted version of my words, as indeed was only to be expected with the press muzzled as it is today. I am ready to stand by every word I have published. In return, I expect the Academy to communicate this statement of mine to its members and also to the German public, before which I have been slandered, especially as it has itself had a hand in slandering me before that public. So Einstein responds. He's like, this is what I said. It is not just, atrocity mongering, as you want to call it. Two communications of the Prussian Academy. April the 7th, 1933, from Berlin. Dear Sir, as the present Principal Secretary of the Prussian Academy, I beg to acknowledge the receipt of your communication dated March the 28th, announcing your resignation of your membership of the Academy. The Academy has taken note of your resignation in its plenary session of March the 30th, 1933. While the Academy profoundly regrets the turn events have taken, this regret concerns the fact that a man of the highest scientific authority, whom many years of work among Germans and many years of membership of our society must have made familiar with the German character and German habits of thought, should have chosen this moment to associate himself with a body of people abroad who, partly no doubt through ignorance of actual conditions and events, have done much damage to our German people by disseminating erroneous views and unfounded rumors. We had confidently expected that one who had belonged to our academy for so long would have ranged himself, irrespective of his own political sympathies, on the side of the defenders of our nation against the flood of lies which has been let loose upon it. In these days of mudslinging, some of it vile, some of it ridiculous, a good word for the German people from you in particular might have produced a great effect abroad. Instead of which your testimony has served as a handle to the enemies not merely of the present government, but of the German people. This has come as a bitter and grievous disappointment to us, which would no doubt have led inevitably to a parting of the ways, even if we had not received your resignation. Yours faithfully, signed, Von Ficker. So the Academy of Prussian Sciences replies, I think he said he was the principal secretary. Yeah. So, proclaiming many of the accusations hurled about Germany and what's going on are incorrect. They are mudslinging their lies. So, yeah, we've got a huge disagreement between Einstein and the Academy in how they see things. April the 11th, 1933. The Academy would like to point out that its statement of April the 1st, 1933, was based not merely on German, but principally on foreign, particularly French and Belgian, newspaper reports, which Einstein has not contradicted. In addition, it had before it his much canvass statement to the League of Combating Anti-Semitism, in which he deplores Germany's relapse into the barbarianism of long past ages. Moreover, the Academy affirms that Einstein, who, according to his own statement, has taken no part in atrocity mongering, has at least done nothing to counteract unjust suspicions and slanders, which, in the opinion of the Academy, it was his duty as one of its senior members to do. Instead of that, Einstein has made statements, and in the foreign countries at that, which, coming from a man of worldwide reputation, were bound to be exploited and abused by the enemies not merely of the present German government, but of the whole German people. For the Prussian Academy of Sciences, signed H. von Ficker E. Heyman, perpetual secretaries. So, yes, we have another letter from the Academy of Prussian Sciences pushing back on Einstein, saying what is being said about Germany and its people and its government are lies, are falsehoods. Le Coq sur Mer, Belgium, April the 12th, 1933. I have received your communication of the 7th instant and deeply deplore the mental attitude displayed in it. As regards the facts, I can only reply as follows. What you say about my behavior is, at bottom, merely another form of the statement you have already published, in which you accuse me of having taken part in atrocity mongering against the German people. I have already, in my last letter, characterized this accusation as slanderous. You have also remarked that a good word on my part for the German people would have produced a great effect abroad. To this, I must reply that such a testimony as you suggest would have been equivalent to a repudiation of all those notions of justice and liberty for which I have stood all my life. Such testimony would not be, as you put it, a good word for the German people. On the contrary, it would only have helped the cause of those who are seeking to undermine the ideas and principles which have won for the German people a place of honor in the civilized world. By giving such testimony in the present circumstances, I should have been contributing, even if in only indirectly, to moral corruption and the destruction of all existing cultural values. It was for this reason that I felt compelled to resign from the academy, and your letter only shows me how right I was to do so. So, yeah, Einstein responding to the last two pieces of correspondence or public letters and saying, I shouldn't bow and only give grace to the German government and people because I am of German heritage. On the contrary, I seek freedom and liberty, and the German people have proved they are more than capable of having a great civilization. But he denounces what's going on under the Nazi regime. So, yeah, thus resigning from the Prussian Academy of Sciences and the resigning his Prussian citizenship. But yeah, that will be it for this episode. As always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. Be kind, be thoughtful of those out there serving in public places to help you and others. But I'll see you all in the next episode. Until then, later.